Hey everybody, yes, welcome back to the Paid Search Podcast. My name is Jason Rothman. As always, I'm joined by the great Chris Schaefer. Chris is fired up today. He's flexing on me. Chris, I'd ask you how it's going, but it obviously seems to be going great. It's good to see you doing amazing.
Yeah.
You're looking shredded. You look great. Honestly, I love your outfit.
Thank you.
And you look great. So how's it going?
It's a good week. You know, you just have some, it's the end of the month. First of the month isn't here yet. So this is heyday, Checks are coming in, everybody's paying their bills. It's great. Things are good, but night is coming. First of the month is coming, it's going to be tough, but I'm living it up now. It's nice. Weather's nice. Winter is far behind us. I have a new winter phobia that I'm sure will never come up again. But it's good. It's good to be me. What am I saying? It's good to be me.
I had 11 windows busted out last night in a hailstorm.
I didn't ask, Jason. Did I ask how you were?
Oh, it's no worries. Yeah. 11 windows busted out. Don't know about the roof yet. And it is what it is, Chris. Like, what am I going to do? Like, cry and complain? No, just stuff happens. Weather happens.
Yep.
And you just got to get through it. So, yeah, we've been dealing with that today. I was a little late today because I was dealing with that. So I thank you for obliging me, Chris. And we have a very interesting show today. We have some news.
Yep.
Google's doing great, which is good news for us.
Uh-huh.
And we'll get to that. And then we have rules. I love rules.
Here we go.
We have rules from the great Chris Schaefer.
5 of them.
But before that, we have a message about Optio.
Yeah. Optio is the online Google Ads paid tool to get you done faster in Google Ads. So you start your day and you start managing your campaigns. This tool is designed to help you get more out of that management time. If you've been managing Google Ads for any significant amount of time, you know that you start to get in a rut. You tend to do the same things, but your campaign needs more. You need to check more. And those checklists get longer and longer. If you're an agency, your employees have a long checklist and you have to make sure that they check those things. And you don't really know if they did. How do you check that? How do you know if your campaigns are in tip-top condition? This tool is not only a management tool, but it's a type of internal checklist system where you can go in and see what are the priority issues here. What are the red light issues? What are the yellow light? And what are the green light? What are some things that may be completely stopping you from performing better and others that might be medium priority? I love this type of prioritization of your Google Ads system, and it's brought to you entirely by Optio. You can try this wonderful tool for 8 weeks for free by going to optio.com/PSP2. That's the number 2. Use the chat box in the bottom right-hand corner, and you can get 8 weeks. Let them know that you heard about it on the show. You can get 8 weeks for free. That's a significant amount of time to really change your campaigns around. Imagine what you can do if you gained a few more clients and held on to them longer because of this tool. It definitely pays for itself. Try it out today. Optio.com/PSP2.
Okay, thanks, Chris. And yeah, we have a very interesting show. So to start us off, we have news. We have news from
Jason,
the Wall Street Journal.
I'm going to let you finish. But I have to drop this hot news.
Breaking news.
I just produced a 3-minute, very important update.
Oh, my bad.
And published it to the super patron level. And I just want to remind you guys, if you are not a super patron, that's where I produce videos myself and put them out there, and I share my screen. I give specific tips rather than just talking about ideas. I show those tips. If you're not a super patron and you are in Google Ads, you're managing Google Ads, or you're hoping to do freelance, or you're working for an agency, up your performance level by becoming a super patron. That was video number 40, I believe, that I just produced. It's 3 minutes long, and you just saw it, Jason. I think it's a pretty informative 3 minutes.
Yeah, it shows us something that is very common, a setting that's very common. and people think the setting means a number of different things because it's not very clear what the setting means, but a lot of people don't know how drastic of an impact it can have on a campaign and what that setting does. I did not know that setting does what you showed me. And is that video out live as people listen to this?
It sure is. It sure is.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, sign up for that super patron, paidsearchpodcast.com. Then click over to the Patreon and you can sign up for the super patron level, which also includes the weekly after show in that level. And thanks for sharing that, Chris. Now we have quarterly earnings came out from Google, and basically they make a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
And the crazy thing is this is Alphabet, which is the head company at Google, the parent company. So first quarter of 2021, Chris, January, February, March, their revenue was somewhere around like, I don't know, 55 or 56 billion, 55 billion. And just think about this. When we started the show around this time, actually in 2016, their first quarter revenue was 20 billion. So when we started the show, Google was the number one search engine, huge market share. Everyone in the country and a lot of countries in the world used it every single day. Still the case, but somehow they figured out how to make over double the revenue.
Yeah.
So it's just growing. And I think a couple things that stood out to me, Chris, one is there was a sentence in the article, which for someone like you and I think this would stand out, but for the average reader of the Wall Street Journal, it wouldn't. And by the way, we'll link to this article in the show notes. It said brands responded by shifting ad spending from print, television, and in-store promotions to find customers across the Google universe. And the Wall Street Journal is talking about the COVID situation and people started going online. So the key phrase there, Chris, was that they went to the Google universe to find their customers. And I wanted to tell you how that connected with me. The key phrase is to find customers. This isn't TV advertising during some network TV show that 5 million people are watching on a Tuesday night. It's not radio. People, the whole metro driving around in their car listening to the Backstreet Boys. It's not, let's announce ourselves and then customers can find us. With Google Ads, what you and I do is we help our advertisers hunt their perfect customers. We track them down and then we get in front of them. So in the article, they said to find customers. And that stood out to me because that's what we do.
Yeah.
We don't get in front of people. They don't come to us. We hunt them down.
Yeah.
Based on remarketing lists, based on what websites they're on, based on what they search in Google, based on who they are, demographics. And then we get our ads in front of them and we find them. And I think that kind of conveys how especially search advertising is just different and more effective than lots and lots of traditional forms of advertising.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, of course, they're making a ton of money right now with YouTube.
It's such a different way of advertising when you can see the results on screen. You can see how many clicks, impressions. You can see what each dollar is going to. And you can see the results. You can see how effective it is and then react to those results. That's such a different type of advertising. And it's not, I'm not so sure, Google has to do a lot to make those shifts in the amount that their earnings are, because it seems very natural for people to start discovering that and businesses to grow. Because as well as I do, we have clients, you and I independently, we have clients that have been with us for a while, and what do their spends do? They trickle up. They go up, up, up. 1 month they might increase it another $200, and every year we talk, and that's just naturally what tends to happen when you're successful with campaigns. So it's not a surprise that this continues to grow and be effective.
Yeah, and then they're just they're piling on money with YouTube advertising, which, I mean, anytime I say the word YouTube now, I just feel compelled to say YouTube Premium. $10 a month, $20 a month. I don't even know what it is. I don't care about that kind of money.
You don't even get paid for that.
I have no idea. Someone, a relative the other day called me and asked me about something at a grocery store or something, like what what food costs, and I was like, oh, they asked me the difference between cuts of steak, like prime meat versus choice meat.
Okay, yeah.
Like, hey, what's the difference? We were talking about steak one night I cooked, and they're like, so how much is the difference it costs? I said, how would I know? What, you think I care about that? Like, you think I'm thinking about that? No.
It's just whichever. Yeah, absolutely. The one that looks best is what I pick. Yeah, steak is important. We could talk about that in Patreon. That's what people pay for, is hear about our thoughts on steak.
Well, yeah. So $10, $20 a month. I'm telling you, if you make any kind of money with your life, that is so worth it to not have to sit through those ads in the middle of your videos, especially now, knowing that some channels, like my own channel, aren't monetized, and the ads are still running. That was kind of that was a strong move.
Yeah, it's like, we're not going to give you.
So
any
yeah,
of this.
but Google's doing great, and
it's good
that's
news.
Good news for us and everyone listening. I also saw in the article that Amazon's up to 19% of the search market. Are you sure about that? That seemed kind of high, but
they're counting the Amazon.com ads on Google ads.
No. They're talking about like how many searches are done in a search engine.
Oh,
so like
okay.
online. So like it said like Google something like 56% of search or 60% of search. I was like, that seems a little bit low.
Yeah,
I don't know who was. Yeah,
that seems, it's such a different type of search. I mean, I don't go to Amazon because I want to find out, if this is poison ivy or not.
They tried to get into the lead business a few years ago. Like, they had an actual office with staffed employees where you sign up for Amazon. I don't know, they had some name to it. Like, if you're a plumber or something, and people will come to you through Amazon. Didn't work out. They shut it down.
Huh. I didn't know that.
So, Chris, we got to talk about rules. The 5 rules of keyword quality. I just want to give you advice 5 years into your podcast partner. You sent me a message preparing for the show yesterday.
Yep.
And I can't tell you the number of times this phrase you used has rattled around in my head in the last 24 hours, even though I'm dealing with 11 broken windows, hailstorms, being a father, being a husband, being probably the greatest Google Ads manager ever to do it.
Yep.
The thing I'm thinking about is this guy telling me what to do for the last 24 hours. I don't like that, Chris. So don't do that.
It was the efficient, wasn't it? Because I said the word, we need to be efficient with our
podcast topic is planned for tomorrow. That's fine. Okay. It's your week. That's fine.
Here we go. Yeah.
I got no problem with that. Leave it at that next time.
The E word hasn't come up yet.
Be smart. Be smart and leave it at that. Listen to you trying to tell me what to do. I don't like being told what to do. We'll need to quick, and you don't even have good grammar.
Oh, well, okay.
You said, we'll need to quick and precise because there's a lot of examples I want to cover. I'll push a few examples into Patreon.
Okay. Yeah.
You don't think I know we need to be quick and precise on these episodes and get a lot of good information in? You don't think I know what I'm doing?
Maybe it was unnecessary.
I'd like to hear an apology.
I
will be able to move on if I can hear an apology.
Oh, I definitely forgive you for failing at my one request of being efficient and jumping straight into it.
Well, maybe you shouldn't tell me what to do, and then I won't have disobedience and defiance.
You're right.
If you would have just let it at podcast topic is planned, I would have been like, oh man, that's a good partner right there. He did his job. Doesn't tell me to do my job because he knows I'm going to do my job because I've been doing my job for 5 years. Why would he tell me that? No one tells me what to do.
You are talking now just
but this guy
spite
thinks he needs to know how to tell me what to do.
I know. I can't tell you what to do. You're right. Well,
So don't try, because then it gets me in a bad mood for 24 hours. You know what else gets me in a bad mood, Chris? I'm in an office here. And I've got 2 cable outlets here in the office. I plugged in the modem to one of them where I want the modem and router, and it worked. It worked, right? It worked. But then all of a sudden, after a few weeks, it stopped working.
Oh.
But then I would reset the modem and then do that whole thing, and it would start working again, and then it would stop working, And then it got progressively longer time periods of it stopped working and not working. And so I was out of internet for the last 3 days.
Oh, what?
And then I go, why don't I plug it in under the desk where it kind of looks like all the computer stuff is and try that cable outlet? And it works because that's the one with cable internet on the outlet. So I went 3 days of off and on and stress and calling the cable company and all that kind of stuff. I plugged it in the wrong one. So why did the wrong one work for a little bit?
I don't know.
Very weird.
Don't talk to me about
Very weird.
Good internet. That's a very personal.
You know, someone canceled Patreon, and in the notes they said, "I don't want meal plans" or something like that. Because I guess,
Jason, don't give away what we talk about in Patreon.
I think he used the word need. He said, I don't need meal plans.
Okay, you guys want to get a message to us? You know the best way to do it? Join us on Patreon. Let it pay for your month, and then when you leave, you can fill out an exit survey. We are highly entertained by those exit surveys. They are always great. We don't care, but it's really funny.
Now, there's always a few bad apples, but like most of them are left the industry. And then in the last year, there were a few not doing much because of COVID kind of comments and changing careers. But anyway, yeah, so I had to get that off my chest, Chris, and honestly, rattled around my head. Really,
that's good.
Really impacted my mood
I like
for the
that.
last 2 days.
I'm so glad.
I do not like being told what to do. I do not like being told what to do.
Okay. Whenever you're ready, we can start with the 5 rules of keyword quality.
All right, Chris, let's get into the 5 rules of keyword quality. How's that for efficiency? Saying the same thing.
There we go.
All right, I want to know, Chris, what is keyword quality? People are going to start thinking quality score. Is it about that, or is it about just human thinking with your brain and offline kind of thinking? You're always coming at keywords. Every 6 months, you have a new grand strategy with keywords. What inspired this? What's going on? Why are we back on keywords?
Yeah.
What are you thinking these days?
So, good point. This is not a discussion about quality score. I don't care about quality score. I care about the quality of the traffic. That's a pretty crazy statement, but it's absolutely true. And I'm going to prove how much I'm crazy about the quality of the traffic by establishing 5 rules, and we're going to have lots of examples and additional examples in Patreon. Okay, so these 5 rules define the 5 levels of qualified traffic that you can get through Google. We're going to go through each one of them separately, but the short answer is this. You can get traffic that is not really considering you, not necessarily looking for you or your product or your service, but they have an issue surrounding your product or service. They might be interested. And then we jump a few levels and then we get into the highest quality. And these are people that absolutely want to find you. They just haven't heard of you yet. And they're looking for someone like you or like your competitor. And they have dictated that specifically in their search. So this is essentially the definition of, are you wasting money in Google Ads or are you not wasting money? You know, if a client comes to me and says, I have $10,000 to spend in, a month, I might decide to use multiple levels of this quality, right? I might go for the low level and the high level because I have a lot of money to work with. But a client says, I have $500 to work with, then I don't have nearly the leniency to work across all these tiers of quality. So I need to be very selective, and therefore I need to know what these tiers of quality are, and that's it. And I want to define them so that you can make sure you know what they look like, so you can see it and know it.
And also, Chris, as soon as I see, and we'll get into the rules, as soon as I see some of these descriptions of the rules and the lower quality working its way up to the higher quality stuff, the first thing I think is bids. And it's not even so much a thing of what should my exact bids be? It's just more of Okay, until you get cost per conversion data and can actually prove what you should be bidding on every single keyword or ad group based on that conversion data and your target cost per conversion and return and all that, assuming you don't have those numbers straightened out yet, the conversion data, then you probably should be bidding more on the higher quality stuff and less on the lower quality. And that's like a very important thing. And it doesn't matter exact numbers. It's just you shouldn't be doing kind of universal bids. So that's where my mind goes. And I like the way you roll these out here. So we'll go through the 5 rules. We'll start with the lowest quality stuff, number 5, and work our way down. So why don't you go through those, Chris?
Okay. So the first one being the least qualified, symptom or question search. Okay. These are people who have, and we're going to go through specific examples. After we get through the 5, we're going to have 2 sets of examples that we're going to go through. So you'll know exactly what these look like in real life. The first is the lowest quality is symptom or question. So someone who has a problem or an issue. I even said it earlier today. I might go to Google because I want to know, do I have poison ivy? Is this poison ivy? Is this that? So maybe you sell some type of ointment. That's going to be an example of, a symptom or a question. It's going to be the least qualified. They have not dictated yet that they want what that you're selling.
So you're not even saying a symptom or question about you. You're just saying they have a symptom or question and it's in your general area.
Right.
But not even just you.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if the search is this poison ivy, the thing is that person might mean they want to know what the leaf looks like. So you may interpret this as one topic, but completely misunderstand what the person means by it. So these are some of the most risky ones, because if you look at a search and misunderstand the intent behind that search, you're going to be spending a lot of money for, just crap clicks because they're not going to convert. And
people who don't need you.
Yeah. They're not looking for what, they're going to be immediate bounce. They're going to leave, they're going to click, spend your money and bounce. So definitely the least valuable, most risk of, the 5.
And good to throw this out there. Beginners to Google Ads, we get a lot of beginners listening. They would go, okay, well, if they don't need you, why would they click? And the answer is because 99% of the time when people go to Google and they click, it's exactly what they want. And they're getting a very, very relevant search result that they click on. And so not everybody, a lot of people read ads and a lot of people know, okay, if this isn't what I want, I won't click. But a good number of people don't really read the ads that closely. A number of people don't read them and they click and then they realize, oh, this isn't what I want. And then they go back to Google. So Chris, getting a little bit more quality, we'll just kind of trade off here, would be a symptom or question, if I'm reading this right, along with a modifier. So we're getting a little bit more detailed in the search. So what do you mean by that?
So the person may do a search for, is this poison ivy or, something like that. But when they add some type of modification to the first of it or the beginning or, afterwards, it's going to say something like best solution for, poison ivy itch or something like that. Like I said, I have more examples to show you exactly what that looks like, but they've added one little thing that gives you a factor of qualification that at least they're looking for a product of some kind for a purpose. That's a step up in quality. That means there's less risk now and a bit more value.
Well, it's also a step up in clarity because those modifiers, it may mean that it is closer to being someone who wants your product or service with maybe a word like best, or it could mean that you're kind of like they're off the track. They're not really wanting to hire someone because maybe they use the word how to, and maybe that modifier kind of tells you, hey, maybe they're not so much looking for someone to hire. So then number 3, Chris, the model number or service type. Is this plain Jane, like movers, roofers, some kind of office chair, something like that?
Yeah, exactly. This is, and we'll compare and contrast
I hate these. I got to say that, Chris. I hate these. They're so hard to read into.
These are the ones that I see the most when I go into an audit a Google Ads campaign for the first time, and I see exactly what you said: movers, ovens, plumber. I see things like that. That's what's at the top. That's what's getting the most.
Ford Mustang.
Yeah, it's just junk.
Does someone want you? Did someone have a great month at their insurance agency or whatever, and they have money in their pocket and they want to come buy a Ford Mustang that day with cash? Or is it some 8-year-old looking up pictures of Ford Mustangs
Right.
to set as the wallpaper
Right.
of his desktop computer, if 8-year-olds even use those like I did back in the day? We don't know who's behind that search, and that's what makes it so tough.
Yeah. So,
And they're high volume, which makes it tough too because they're tempting.
that's the biggest. And again, there'll be more examples to show you just how real this gets, but we'll leave it there for now.
Okay, Chris. Number 2, we're getting into some
Good
nice
stuff.
quality.
Good stuff.
Oh, this is good stuff here. Number 3, Chris says number 3. So the model number, the service type, the product type, office chair, movers, that kind of core word, along with a modifier like company, companies, contractors, prices, rentals. What do you mean by that? Moving company, office, furniture, rentals. What do you mean by those?
Yeah. So if I took your example of movers, right? That's a third level of quality, right in the middle. Move, no good. But then I add the modifier mover companies. Oh,
Moving
wait.
companies, yeah.
Right? Mover is a crap word. Mover companies, moving companies. Okay. Suddenly that's qualified, right? The qualification goes up. And we'll point out some more things about the tendencies of what these look like as you move through the qualification levels. But, this is standard for any type of campaign. Any type of campaign, there's going to have to be additional modifiers as the quality progresses.
And then the best, Chris, would be the third category, which again is right in the middle, the model number, the product type, the service type, office chair, mover, but along with words like geography or purpose, near me, the city name, 4 kids, 4 adults, orthodontist near me, moving companies in Dallas, movers in Dallas. As good as it gets, beyond brand. I mean, it's pretty much as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Right?
This example works really well. It's really easy to think of city names, but I have examples in here that don't include necessarily city names. But city names are the easiest to think of because if you're a plumber and you want to reach people that want a plumber and they type the plumber plus the neighborhood or the city name or their zip code.
With a zip code, yeah.
That it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, if that's what they're looking for, and then add on another modifier like plumber for shower, and then some
emergency plumber.
Yeah, some
Dallas,
other
Texas,
geographic indicator. I mean, that's top tier. That is the highest level.
New construction plumber, Dallas, Texas.
There you go. Yeah.
Rehab plumber, Dallas, Texas. So you can't get more particular than that. And then on top of that, nice things you can do. You can create ad copy that matches their search to make sure they know you're exactly what they're looking for. And then I see people's problems, Chris. I can hear them saying, okay, I listened to the Paid Search podcast. I targeted the best quality keywords, the number 1 group, which is the service or product type, along with geography or purpose, like near me, the city name. Why am I not getting a 100% conversion rate? Oh, beyond that, why am I not even getting a 20% conversion rate? Why do people do this search that's so spot on to me and I'm exactly what they're looking for, and not more than 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10 actually call me? Well, that's the nature of Google Ads. You're not going to get a conversion on every click, even if it's a great search. There's a lot going on behind the search. The person, their circumstances they're doing it in, whether they're ready to call, something about your landing page. So keyword quality, what we're talking about today, Chris, very, very important, but don't think it's the be all end all. There's a lot you have to do beyond that, but this is definitely the core foundation of where you start.
Yep.
So Chris, we'll get into our examples here. The first example is dentist, and I'll go from the lowest quality to the best and give examples, and then we'll kind of get your particular highlights you wanted to point out. So with dentist, the lowest quality, the symptom or question category would be something like tooth pain. That's a symptom. Mm-hmm. That's pretty general there. Going up a little more quality into the symptom or question along with a modifier, best way to stop tooth pain. So now we know what they're dealing with and what they're wanting to do about it. An example of how you could totally get off track there. What if someone did the search, how do people get tooth pain? So say someone calls someone and they say, oh, or say a kid's at school and he calls his mom, my teeth hurt. Well, then she might search, how do people get tooth pain? And maybe she's not looking for a way to solve it in that moment, but best way to stop tooth pain.
Yeah.
It gives you some clues. And then this tough one, dentist. Just the service, just dentist. What does that mean? Are they going to dentist school? Are they looking for TV shows about dentists? Are they looking, oh, it's so horrible, to spell the word dentist or the definition of the word dentist? Who knows? Or are they looking for a dentist and they convert? Who knows? And then the really quality stuff, the service plus a modifier, price for dental visit. And then another one I like there, how much do braces cost? That's a common one for orthodontist. And then number one, as quality as it gets, the geography there, dental implants, Dallas, Texas. I think those are some pretty good examples, Chris. Man, it is tough to start a Google Ads campaign from scratch, Chris. If you're just a dentist who's never done this before and you get hit with those keyword suggestions,
how would you know?
Where are you going to go? Are you going to go into your symptom questions? Are you going to go into your general, just the word dentist? Or are you going to go into some really, really granular stuff, dental implants in Dallas, Texas? What stands out here for you, Chris? What should people be thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to fall into the trap of what you think people are searching, or even, if you're using an SEO tool or some kind of outside tool that's going to show you how many
volume tool,
how many impressions.
Oh wow, Dennis gets
week.
Thousands of searches. Yeah. Maybe I should do that.
It's going to be at the very top of the list. It's going to have this long graph right next to it that shows all the impressions and traffic that it gets. But in reality, you don't want that. So number 3 is always a really interesting one to me, because if you were to write all these out, you'll notice that typically number 3 is the shortest. It's just the word. And yet it represents only the middle of the road. And it typically, if we were to also chart out the volume of traffic for each one of these, most of the time the middle one is also going to get the most. So it's almost like it kind of goes up and then back down as far as the volume goes. It's not always like that, but that's what's really interesting. You don't necessarily, if you think about quality, you don't think about volume in the same way. So just because dentist gets the most, it is not the most qualified. Let's go into another example. Let's go to e-commerce. I think this is going to speak to a lot of people. And then in our in Patreon, I'm going to have a couple extra. We're also going to talk about real estate, and we're going to talk about medical as well in Patreon. So if you want to join us for that, we're going to go through a few examples there.
Okay, Chris. So e-commerce, the symptom question, we're talking about electric bikes. What is an electric bike? Ugh, that one scares me.
Yeah.
If you're trying to sell and make money. Best electric bikes. Number 3, e-bikes.
Mm-hmm. One word.
I could see that working.
One word.
I could see it working.
One word, but
I could see it working.
But oh my goodness, the volume.
You could also see it blowing up a budget
if
you don't control your bids. And then getting down to the quality stuff, the modifier plus the kind of good, or the service or product plus a good modifier. Folding electric bikes. Now you're getting pretty
specific,
granular there.
Right?
And if you sell folding electric bikes, you got a good shot at winning someone's business. And then the most granular, the purpose modifier in this case for e-commerce, hybrid e-bikes for kids. That's someone who's on a mission for a Christmas gift, and when they see it, they're going to buy it. That would be my outlook on that one.
That's, and for this example, I want to pay close attention to the first and second. The second one says folding electric bikes, right? The modifier is folding, okay? The first one also has a modifier. It says hybrid e-bikes, right? The modifier is hybrid, but the purpose is what makes it special, because when people use the word for, F-O-R, and they add a purpose behind the product or service that they're looking for, there's a lot of power in that. There's not a whole lot of volume, but there's a lot of power in that, because if they're looking for a specific purpose and you have ad copy that can speak to that purpose, or you have a product that's specialized in that type of purpose, oh man, I mean, that's beautiful.
Yeah, what I like the way you think about these searches, Chris, you're not really focused. I mean, even though it plays out this way where like sometimes the more quality keywords have longer phrases, more words in the keyword phrase, you're not really focused on that. You don't really care if a keyword is two words, 3 words, 5 words. You're just looking for the actual words that they're searching and inferring from that how serious they are and kind of how like likely they would be to be very interested if they find something specific that they're looking for. So hybrid e-bikes for kids. Yeah, I mean, you could get a lot of informational traffic from that, but at the same time,
that's so specific.
E-bikes is such a huge field of search. If you can get that specific and you know someone's looking for hybrid e-bikes for kids, you probably have a better chance of getting some sales than some of those other strategies. And it sounds like this is something search and service companies and lead gen is so straightforward sometimes, Chris. It sounds like with your background in e-commerce along with service companies and lead generation, I think what I'm picking up from you is you have to be thinking about things like this almost every time with e-commerce, but with lead gen, sometimes it's so straightforward you really don't have to put much thought into it. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, I mean, there's we could take a whole derivative and a spin on this based on B2B, B2C, things like that. I mean, it gets more and more complicated, but absolutely, it's always up for interpretation. But if this is blowing your mind, if this is a whole new way to think about things, you might consider that Google Ads is more complex and more difficult than you thought. And for that reason, I want to remind you to try optio.com/PSP2. It's a great tool that can remind you of things that you may not have realized before. Things that go over your head, you don't think about. It's a great secondary checking system. It's got all kinds of other features as well, but I want to encourage you to try it for 8 weeks for free. optio.com/PSP2.
Okay, Chris, so now we're going into some of my bread and butter here, lead generation, service company. Going to be looking at the example of a cabinet company. Deceptively tough industry to run on Google Ads, kind of like custom closets, because there's so many idea searches and so much inspiration, kind of image searches. But what I want to put in front of you is I'm a cabinet company. It's my first time to Google Ads. I'm working with the Google Ads manager. We have $1,000 a month budget. I want to know what kind of keywords you're just kind of ruling out and what kind of keywords you're going to focus on. And then also what you would do with the bidding. So we'll go through the 5 levels of quality here, and then I want to get some advice from you on how you would attack this with a new advertiser $1,000 a month budget. So number 5, the symptom or question, kitchen remodeling. It's a good way to think about it. This is the symptom. This is the problem they have. They need to remodel their kitchen. I don't see the word cabinet.
There's no
there.
cabinet.
So yeah, it's not in there. This is tough, Chris.
A lot of volume.
I'm having conversations in my head. I hear clients telling me like, hey, we want to get in front of people looking for kitchen remodels. That's our big money. We want to do that as cabinet makers. Show us on those searches. And then I'm sitting there going, yeah, but they didn't put the word cabinet in there. Do they even want one cabinet company, or do they want an overall kitchen remodel who will find someone to do that for them? Are they even anywhere close within the next 6 months of actually being able to actually call the cabinet company or know what they want for cabinets?
And remodel is so expensive too. Like kitchen remodel is not a cheap CPC click in the first place. So this one is a particularly interesting example.
Yeah, you're competing there with actual kitchen remodel contractors.
Oh my goodness.
You're competing there with huge oven companies at corporate that don't know what they're doing with Google Ads, and so they just put in the word oven broad match or kitchen remodel broad match, and they think that's going to get people buying their oven. Just tons of competition there. So then you go down to the symptom or question plus a modifier, kind of giving you some guidance on what they're looking for about that symptom or question. Ideas to improve my kitchen. I mean, maybe. I will see what the expert says about this.
That's scary.
The cabinet guide here with Chris, but I'm not liking that one. Number 3, cabinets. Not liking that one either. Number 2, cabinets plus a modifier, custom cabinet companies. Okay. I'm liking that. And then number 1, the highest quality, the modifier with a geo on it, a geo modifier, custom cabinet companies near me.
Beautiful.
It's pretty good. So as a Google Ads manager, as a longtime Google Ads manager, is the best to ever do it. I'm looking at number 1, custom cabinet companies near me, heavy, custom cabinet companies, Dallas, cabinet companies, Dallas. I'm open to number 2 for sure, custom cabinet companies, even maybe cabinet companies. 3, 4, and 5, cabinets, ideas to improve my kitchen remodeling. I really don't like kitchen remodel. I really don't like, for $1,000 a month budget, anything that doesn't include the word cabinet. Unless I'm desperate and I want to try something out, super low cost per click, broad match, whatever. Maybe a small percent of the budget I'd approach with those. And then maybe cabinets, phrase match, very low bid on it to control the spend. Would you approach it like that, Chris? Or would you really just go after the top quality there and then see how much you can spend on that before you experiment?
This is such... The reason I present all 5, and this whole discussion is not about why you need to do only 1 and 2, is because it matters so much what your call to action is, how much your price is. I mean, does this company...
What your goal is.
Yeah, I mean, does this company only offer custom cabinetry that starts at $10,000? Or do they also have like a pre-made type of, we can install it in one day, tear out your current stuff and install it in one day, for like a $3,000 package, that a lot of people might bite on? It makes a big difference. So my whole wrap up of this whole discussion, whether you're a dentist, e-commerce, custom cabinet maker, it really matters what you can do, what kind of package and service you're doing. Number 1, and how deep you go in the qualified versus unqualified. And then number 2, how much budget you have. So, there's a type of diagram you could draw here of, how much of those overlap. If you have a really great offer from high dollar to low volume, or low dollar, I should say, and then on the other diagram, you only have a $500 budget, there's no overlap. There has to be overlap when you have a big budget and you have a wide diversity of things that you can offer, from, symptom searches up to very precise stuff. So you can never make a decision. I say you cannot make a decision with just your budget. It has to be a consideration of what your business does, what prices there are, what services, what products you're offering, because people need choices.
Yeah, Chris, my call to action with all this choice you have to make, all these decisions you have to make about keyword quality, is the word structure. I'm like an architect in Google Ads, Chris. I'm a master architect with a big reputation and a bigger ego. I just see all the problems here of combining these different keyword quality strategies. If you don't do it correctly with great structure, you have to have structure. If you don't have structure, you're just creating a mess here.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get clear answers.
And
structure.
There's one thing I want to bring up. I want to talk about this in Patreon. Jason, how much does the success and the failure of this quality system count on the bidding structure that you have, the bidding model that you have? If you have one bidding model versus another bidding model, and I don't want to get into it, I want to talk about it in Patreon, it doesn't matter how good of a structure you have in this. You can have the best structure, but if you have the wrong type of bidding, it may be apt to failure before it even starts.
All right, Chris, thanks. We'll talk about that in Patreon, and we'll move over there right now.